So, Andreas Binder, a long time coming for us to finally get around to doing this because, as I'm sure there'll be plenty of other people out there that know about the hype that you've been generating in and around Europe. We've been watching your last few fights and excited to get around to chatting to you about those, and it never ended up happening. But then the exciting thing is we have another exciting thing to talk about, right? Because I was
Yeah.
looking forward to talking about your last fight with Aiden Lee, which felt like a big deal. And it was like, oh, that's a cool showcase for you to be in the main event. And Aiden Lee is a guy that UK fight fans know very well as well. But then this PFL opportunity comes around, and it feels like from the outside looking in, like the perfect platform for you to be on at this stage. Like, what was your initial reaction to the PFL offering you a deal?
Yeah, I was ecstatic, man. Like this has been my dream leading up to, like, since I went professional in my MMA career. I always wanted to sign to a big promotion. And obviously it took longer than expected, but yet again, I wasn't padding my record. I always took the hardest fight out there. Every fight I had, I've been getting better and better. And yeah, when this opportunity came knocking, just to finish off the year as well, in my home, not in my hometown, but as a homecoming in Dublin for the first time in nearly 5 years, I was like, I cannot miss this opportunity.
I think one of the most exciting things about you being on this card is and there's a couple other guys on there as well, but the fact that this one is your PFL debut, it really shows to me the impact that PFL have been able to have in Europe because we saw the initial kind of wave of guys that they signed to start off this PFL Europe season, and then they've continued to add people here and there. But the fact of the matter is, a year ago this wasn't an option, right? You would have had to go. Obviously, you were fighting on LFL before, and it
Yeah.
was kind of difficult because there wasn't really a jump in between going from LFL to going to a big promotion, and so you have PFL, and it's like PFL is a big promotion, but you're on the European series, so it's like it's the
Mm.
perfect stopgap, I think, in between where you get to show what you're capable of to a bigger audience without going, there could have been a situation where you're looking for a contender series fight, something like that
Mm.
to make that impression. And instead, they're like, well, instead of waiting for a one off fight, here you go. Here's the platform to go and do it. Go have fun, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it made it so much easier in my decision making by knowing that I was dealing with Dan Hardy. He's been around the block for a very long time. He has a good relationship with fighters. He's been a fighter himself, so he knows the ins and out in and out of this game. So that made it a bit easier. But yet again, that was always going to be the plan. I wanted to, like, cement my name in Ireland and UK, and I've done that. And then once we progressed into Eastern Europe and finding Austria, finding Netherlands, finding in Germany, we wanted to cement the name then in Eastern Europe so I can build my fan base and then be like, right, what else do you want me to prove? Do you know what I mean? So as soon as I knocked out Aiden Lee, I was like, right, where's my call now? Like, who else? Who else are you going to give me? Like, who else is going to be my way to stop me to where I need to get?
Yeah. Before the PFL came around and you ended up signing with them, what were you looking at as a potential next step? I'm just interested purely because
Yeah,
again, I think you're in a really unique position of being one of the guys that the PFL have got in that probably could have had quite a few options out there that would have made sense. But again, I feel like this is the best move that you could have made. So I'm just interested to know where you were kind
yeah,
of at.
yeah. We had a lot of options. There was a lot of options that opened doors for us once I had the Aiden Lee fight, because obviously he was a veteran in the game. He's been around the block quite a while, and it was my first time fighting a lightweight. So obviously there was KSW. They've been keen on that. There was LFL. They wanted me to defend my belt again, which I was very open to. PFL, we were in talks with them for a while. They're like, there was contender series. There's so many options, but like, we looked at the option that's best for me, because I'm not I'm not a trash talker. I'm not like, I'm a fighter's fighter. I take the hardest fights. I put on a performance, and I always get my hand raised. Not always get my hand raised, but I give it 110%. So I portray myself as a fighter's fighter. So then, when I seen the PFL route, they kind of do back, kind of like a background story on you, telling your story of the person you are, not someone, like not being a two person, like one person be the Mr. Nice guy behind the camera and then being an absolute asshole, like, on camera. So this is the way I am, and this is the way they're portraying me, like, you know what I mean? And they're kind of giving my story to everyone to know what I do, like, balancing with the work life and this and that and the other. And it was just pretty much an easy pick for me to go with PFL.
One of the things that I really like about it as well, again, for someone in your situation, that I think that it was a very smart move that you did in terms of going to get fights in Europe to kind of build your name over there, so that you can explore options like a KSW and stuff like that as well,
Yeah.
as just sticking to the UK and Ireland. But the exciting thing is for UK and Irish fans that haven't got to what you said the first time in Ireland in what was it, 5 years you haven't fought in Ireland.
Yeah, nearly 5 years. Yeah.
The guarantee that if you win this fight and you're in the lightweight series next year, we're going to get 4 fights or three or 4 fights. Three
Three
fights,
fights, I believe. Yeah, 3 fights.
I
Yeah.
get confused because it's 4 cards and
Yeah.
but 3 fights all in Europe. One of those probably in Ireland next year, probably one of them in the UK. Like if fight fans have been like, oh, I feel like I haven't watched him fight in Ireland or just in the UK in such a long time, it's guaranteed. Like if you're going to fight next year in the PFL, it's going to be probably another date in Ireland, like I said, and then some other big trips around Europe. So you have that confirmation that like you have the opportunity to really build a fan base over here for people that might not have seen your last couple fights.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, I'm really blessed that I have such a close family and friends around me, and they've always traveled the width of Europe for my fights. Like every time I fought in Austria or Netherlands or anywhere I fought, I always brought over 70, 80 people with me. But now this time, it's finally in Dublin. It's only like a 2-hour drive away from my hometown, Galway. And I'm bringing over nearly 300 people coming up to this, if not more. So this is the opportunity. Like I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself, but when I'm under pressure, I perform so much better. So it's like seeing all these people actually like investing their time and traveling up to see me fight and supporting me. It means the world. Like, so yeah, it's going to be sick. Next year is just going to be something different. And like, this is the people's main event. All the hype is around mine and Daniele's fight. So this going to be just off the charts.
Yeah. To talk about you versus Scatizzi, because like you say, that I think it is one of the fights that jumps out on paper, not only because you've got the fact that it's a qualifier, so there's something at stake, right? But just the matchup itself. Of course, the thing that everyone has been talking about is the fact that it's SBG versus SBG, John Kavanagh versus Owen Roddy, the SBG civil war, if you will. How what was your reaction like to getting Scatizzi as an opponent? Did you know already that he was at the other SBG?
So I always knew he was in other SBG. Like I've seen him around a bit, but I've never trained with him or anything. So it was just kind of like the local bragging rights. It'll be like my coach versus John, and it's just something different. Like, and it's kind of like student versus teacher kind of way. But no, like I don't see SBG fighting each other like at pro, which that's the thing. Like, because obviously there's so many SBG franchises around and stuff. And amateur, there's loads of SBGs that fight each other, but like a pro, I haven't seen it just yet. So this could be like an opening, like I have no bad blood with him or anything. So it's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that you don't, like you said, you just don't see it at pro that much. Where like, and I've heard John Kavanagh speak about this in the past of like, he's at so many events where it's always his team against, one of the other main teams in Ireland, and it happens so much that, it's like at this point, it isn't like, even though we're building it up as like, oh, SPG versus SPG bragging rights, at this point, it's more like it's more like a Sunday league football, where it's like you're so used to those people and playing against them, and right, that it's just like it's like a little bit of competitive rivalry, but that's all it is at the end of the day, which I think we haven't really seen much of in the pro game, and it's an interesting thing, I think, especially for people who don't follow maybe UK and Irish MMA so closely, because you forget in America that the gyms are so spread out that
Yeah, yeah.
the likelihood isn't going to happen. I was surprised to hear that you guys haven't trained together, because it's almost like if you're both training in Ireland and you're around the same weight class, it's like, yeah, you probably spent some time on the mats together at one point or another. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, we didn't get the opportunity to train. I've been in HQ a couple of times. I've been helping out Sinead Kavanagh in her fights for Bellator and stuff, but I haven't seen him around the mats. And obviously, when I joined SPG Charlestown from Galway, because I was traveling from Galway for 6 months for 2.5 hours to train, and then I finally bit the bullet, and I was like, you know what, we need to move into Dublin. So we did that. But I think it was in Charlestown and training with Roddy and stuff like that before I joined the gym for maybe a couple of months. But other than that, we just look, business is business at the end of the day. Like, we're gonna go in there, punch the head of each other, and then afterwards go and have a chat afterwards, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the PFL Europe have done a fantastic job with this card of not just having the championships, which is what everyone has been invested in, but fights like yours, fights like Lewis McGrillen being on there against Wes
Yeah.
Meyer, fights like Don Wooden being back in there. It's like there's so many special draws. They've got Tom Breese, they've got Brett Johns, your fight with Scatizzi. It's like there's so much other stuff to get excited about, even with the fact that there's like 4 championship fights as well, right? There's so much to get excited about. So, like I said, it feels like the right move for you at the right time. So excited to see
Yeah.
it all
Yeah.
play out. I imagine you have a ticket link, right? Because there are still some tickets left. I don't know if there will be by fight week, because they're a steal of a price compared to most MMA events that you go to
Yeah, they're
nowadays.
selling out very fast, man. They're selling out very fast. Like, you think about it, you're spending maybe 45 quid for a ticket of great fights on the night in the Tree Arena, one of the biggest arenas in Ireland. So, yeah, I have a couple of tickets left on my link, but there isn't many left. The venue itself is selling out fast, and that, the Irish are like, they're always like lastminute.com shopping. So, um, you just can't go wrong with great night of fights and great violence, and then a couple of points. Do you know what I mean? It's the way to go. Like, on a Friday night, so you don't have to worry about the hangover then the following day.
That's very true. That's very smart of the PFL. I hadn't thought of it that
Yeah.
way. Absolutely, man. Thank you for your time, mate, and all the best. And we'll definitely catch up with you, maybe early next year, to kind of talk about the year ahead and what you're hoping for and all that good stuff. So, all the best for it, mate.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Really appreciate for having me on, my man.
No problem, man. Have a good rest of your day, and all the best for camp as well. Excited, man. It should be a sick
Cheers.
one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.